and why did we decide actually to make this new program? So actually, as just mentioned, it's a new term, biosolutions. So what are biosolutions? And actually, biosolutions is everything where you use nature's toolbox. Out in nature, there's enzymes, there's microorganisms, the plants, the animals, they have all found solutions for a lot of different things. So this is kind of combining knowledge of biology with knowledge of technology as well, and to make new solutions for this, all bio-based. So if you go for the next one here, it's kind of, sorry, go too fast. So it's kind of, the approach is where you actually have multidisciplinary approach, because solving problems today, you need to have several skills and competencies which go together to find new innovative approaches. So these biotechnology approaches and strategies need to address the challenges and also the way we actually use the world and also our environment to find new solutions. So if you look at it, we could say that we want to have biological processes or bio-based compounds, and we promote that in 4 areas: in agriculture, in industry, well, looking at our environment, but also for food and ingredients productions as such. So for this one, I know it's busy, this slide, but just to show you that there's several topics one can address, and there's several others from these ones. For the 4 areas, if you look at agriculture solutions, well, we also need to look in how can we develop our plants to have a lesser impact on climate. How can we have plant-based food? We'll also go to the food ingredient solutions, but also we are using a lot of chemicals out in the fields. How can we make actual biological solutions for this ones? That's also biosolutions. But industrial solutions, well, why not regard waste as a side stream which can be used for another production, for another compound, for another solutions as well. So we have more circularity and we don't have any waste. And for the environment, well, we need to look into how we actually behave ourselves for environment, because we're going to give that for our next generations. So how we're actually to go to contaminate soil, how can we degrade the contaminants, and how can we actually make sure there's no pollutions or have a bioremediation to remove these ones. Below in these, there's also mentioned some of the industries in Denmark, because this is a growing area. More or less every big companies and small companies are looking into finding these biosolutions for new solutions for the challenges we face here in Denmark, but also in the world. So why? So that's kind of mentioned these challenges as well. We are looking into energy crisis, but also climate crisis, also for the biodiversity, and all these ones we can find biosolutions for. Imagine today we are using chemicals to color our clothes. What if we use the nature's ability to make colors and use that for staining instead? And actually we have a Danish startup companies was looking into colors, make them in a new sustainable way. So we don't have chemicals, but we use nature's own way to do it. Biomaterials, well, today we do have plastics which are made out of starch from, it could be cassava, it could be potato, but other ones which have produced these ones, which is biodegradable, so it have lesser impact on our environment. We're also looking to the food and also clean nature and the energy, because today we use the petrols. What if we can use leftovers from food components to have straw and other things goes into energy as well, or other ways to convert it to energy. So this is all these why we need it. So actually, this study program was developed to meet all these requirements from the industry, to have insight in the different biological processes, but also know about the technology. So this is in Denmark and also in the world starting to be a growing area. And this term is started here in Denmark. And that just to mention some of our big companies which actually are working in here: Novo Nordisk, Arla Food, but there's also small startup companies. So just say that, well, we are at University of Copenhagen. We are one of the oldest universities here in Scandinavia. We was founded back in 1479, and actually is among the best universities in Europe. We have around 40,000 students, a lot of employees, and we have a very large international community, both for students and employees. And then I'm very happy to share with you that actually in 2022, we had the latest Nobel Prize that was in chemistry by Morten Meldal, which had developed some click chemistry and got the Nobel Prize from this one. So why do we actually then choose from Copenhagen to place a new education in Kalundborg? You can see here the site, the campus in Kalundborg, and here's some of our students. And one of the reasons for this is actually that there's very close collaboration with the industry in Kalundborg. So we have actually have guest visits, we have visited the industry, and we're looking into have cases from industry as well, where there can be projects. So you as a student can have a challenge from the industry and help to solve some of these things, or be working in the industry. And then we are looking into these ones with the cases. We really much like you to, as a student, to be the one which is active developing things and also learning to build on your knowledge. So that's why we actually have the student-oriented teaching. There's cases, projects, and there'll be lab work. And I know Lucas, you're looking forward to it in block 3, where we have more extensive lab work for these and the students as well. But basically that you learn how you can solve different challenges you get. And that's also to have the growing needs for candidates in biosolutions, that when you get a challenge, when you've finished as a candidate, you have the basic knowledge to find solutions and to be innovative for these ones. So here your expertise will be in demand. So what are the biosolutions? What are the general topics we're going to cover in this? And that is a basic knowledge of production organisms, the biological systems behind the enzymes, how do you work with these ones? And then, of course, the process as well, the technology behind it. And you cannot today be without data science because everything is automated and you need to know and have skills how to use the data to improve and just to know what happens in the production. Then there's also food safety, product quality, and we also have courses in sustainability because we also look at the impact on the environment. And then you can finish with a thesis. Here is just to show you that the way our study year is built up is that we, in one semester, that's 2 blocks. And in one block, we have 2 courses. And in the first 3 blocks, these courses are mandatory. After that, you have 2 blocks where you can choose either courses or projects. Either you can have from a strict list of courses, which will be expanding, or you can choose totally elective what your interest would be and go from KU or also go for some of the other universities in Denmark to have some courses there, or do projects as well. There's also having cases with the industry, have projects, but also in your thesis. And we have several different kind of ways to have projects at Copenhagen University. And here's just to show you how the courses are put into kind of the knowledge of the what calls production. So you have the input, natural process, and output. And the mandatory courses are around this process. So you have an insight of what happens, what kind of organisms you're going to use, what happens in organisms, and what is happening in the kind of the big fermenters for these ones. Beside that, you can choose the more generic courses, such data handling, sustainability, but also have a quality assessment. Know what kind of legislation do you need from when you have the idea to have a production. And then we also, as I mentioned, believe in case-based, so projects where you are the one working with a specific challenge and find solution for it. So here we have courses as well, which is on different topics, but will be case-based and you have a project in the end. But you're not alone up there. Actually, there are several universities which have situated programs in Kalundborg. So besides Copenhagen University, we also have the Danish Technical Universities situated up there. They have an education called biomanufacturing. We have fellows at the Helix Lab. We have a profession bachelor's or diploma engineer at Absalon, architects and other education as well. So there's actually a large community of students which are growing in the coming years. So it's international, very much students coming to Kalundborg. So again, to come into this education, you would need a bachelor degree, either, for example, in biotechnology, production technology, food science technology, or some related to these ones. And we try to put it down to say, okay, you need to have these following topics covered. And you need going to make a self-assessment when you make your applications. And then just think that for example, for the 15 ECTS statistics mathematics, it doesn't have to be one course. It could be that you have 2 ECTS in one course, 3 in another, and then you just add up, so you have 15 ECTS, and the same for the other ones. Then I know by now that we are using this ECTS measurements. So one ECTS equals 27 hours of coursework, including preparation. And the way we count is that 1 year is 60 ECTS. Then I have to mention as well that for non-EUs, you have to pay a tuition fee. And at the moment, that's around 62,000 Danish kroners, or around 8,000 euros for half a year. If you hold a EU passport, you can actually come here without paying tuition fee. So it's only the non-EUs. And then you can say there's lots more information in our international bachelor degree program where you can find information. And I know there's scholarships around as well, and there are specific scholarships for each country. So if you go into tuition fees and scholarships at Copenhagen University, you can actually find a lot of information about what you are able to apply for scholarship. Something to remember, there's some application deadlines, and there's 2 of those. For non-EUs, it will be January 15th, and for EU citizens, it's March 1st. So please bear in mind these deadlines. And you can also visit our homepage to get more information about the admission and application procedures. And that kind of the in-flight to the program. And then I will give the word to Lukas to talk about his experience with our program. So, Lukas, you are on now, and then I have stopped sharing as well.
Okay, perfect.